At St. Elijah's Church, it's a special day. In the village, they are venerating a saint. And asking God to help Russia. We pray for our blessed country, he says, for its rulers and for its army. Ukraine isn't mentioned by name, but it's on people's minds. In our family, we have a lot of young men who are serving there, Ludmila says. God won't abandon them. They'll come home. Many soldiers haven't. In the village cemetery, we find 24 fresh graves. Russian paratroopers killed in Ukraine. It was President Putin who ordered the invasion. His idea, his special operation. But do Russians believe he was right? To find out, we travel on to the fortress city of Pskov. They're reenacting a World War II battle here, Russian partisans against the Nazis. The Kremlin likens what's happening in Ukraine now to the Second World War. It claims that Russians are again heroes and liberators, a parallel reality. But many here believe it. In the past, says Tatiana, people gave their lives so that we could live. That's why we must support our soldiers now. As I travel across this part of Russia and talk to people here, I get the impression that many Russians are too busy making ends meet to question what they're being told about Ukraine. The Russian public has been receiving a highly filtered picture of what is happening in Ukraine. Independent Russian media have been silenced. The Kremlin controls the narrative and the messaging. And that is why the authorities here have been able to persuade many people to put aside their everyday problems, to rally around the flag and to support what Vladimir Putin calls his special military operation. You might think that anyone living in this building would be grumbling about their government. Liza has lived in a flat here for 60 years. After 2 decades of Putin in power, she still has no running water. There's no central heating, a stove instead. But she doesn't blame the president, and she backs him on Ukraine.
What else was he supposed to do? I'd have done exactly the same as him. Let our government spend the money it needs to on military defense, whatever it takes.
Not all Russians support the invasion, but for now, many do believe the official line. Or look the other way. Steve Rosenberg, BBC News, Northwest Russia.